Yo, 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 and welcome back to Creeps and Crimes
Podcast. You guys like that little yo, yo, yo throwback?
My voice really hurt in that moment, but we wanted to throw it back to season 1 because this is the first creepy account of season 2.
Season 2.
And I wonder if any of you guys actually realized that the yo, yo, yo was gone.
Yeah, we were like waiting. We were like, okay, well, let's get rid of it. And we're like, we'll just wait to see if someone notices. And none of you did. So
that hurt my feelings a little bit because I really love
that was
yo, yo,
absolutely
yo.
soul crushing.
That really was. We've been saying that since day 1, even before we had our little intro.
Yeah, you guys really crushed our spirit.
That really was the OG intro. They're probably like, what the hell are y'all doing in my timeline?
We're sloshed.
On a Sunday. Well, we're hammered. So we thought, what better way to be hammered than to give you a
creepy account
on Halloween?
What? Like, we're genius. Well, cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
That was a good cheers.
That really was.
That was impressive.
I was afraid it was going to be the shitty ones that we used to do, and we would be like, oh, that was so good.
That one was so good.
And then
we would record the cheers like 80 times.
80
we were like,
times.
Again. Oh, that one was it.
I think that was, what episode was that we did that on air for like 30 minutes?
I don't know.
No one listened to it, so they can't tell us. It would just have to be us. I have a feeling that it has something to do with St. Patrick's Day.
My boss calls me today, and she's like, I love the podcast. I'm like, Stop listening to it. She's like, I'm already caught up to last January.
No. That is
I'm like, well, it goes downhill from there. And then it goes back up.
It goes downhill, and then you get to summer, and well, no. It doesn't go downhill until, like, April.
January and February were a little scary.
They were scary because we were hammered.
The entire time. Which is why I'm terrified for my job.
But not production-wise. What's the word that I'm looking for?
It went up there because we got new mics, right?
Yeah, we got new mics, and then it goes on the rise, and then before you know it, we're like dead in all of the episodes. Morgan's pouring up. Guys, so Morgan comes over. She's like, hey, you want to go to the bar before we record? I'm like, no. I'm like, just come over here. I'm watching Dancing with the Stars. Let's get drunk on wine and watch Dancing with the Stars. So she pulls up, and I'm like, I have to go to the gas station. We don't have any water at this house.
Yeah,
let's go get some water.
Water.
Water. So we go pick up some water, and Morgan is in the car with me. She's like, I can't get this open. I'm like, oh, don't worry. I have a car wine opener.
Just has a freaking wine opener in her car.
Thank you, Bailey, for that.
It was ridiculous. So anyway, we started drinking that. That was at 7:30. It is now 10 p.m.
Yeah.
I'm almost done with the bottle.
Yeah, she's almost done. Don't worry, I have more in the refrigerator, so you're going to get a good creepy account out of this. But happy freaking Halloween, everybody.
Yes, I hope you guys were some sexy little goblins.
I hope you are a sexy nurse today, if you're listening to this.
I hope you were a sexy nun today. Hey, all my sexy nurses out there.
Are you ready to get creepy with the creepiest and crimiest of them all?
Ooh,
and if you're watching on YouTube, you're scared.
Creepy.
I think it's time that we talk like this.
No,
my voice let out.
We literally
because God said no.
We cannot. All right.
Wait, I do have a question though. Do you think that we should release this on Halloween or the day before Halloween?
The day before, because our October downloads are freaking crazy.
They're popping. If I was standing up right now, I'd be doing that.
But it would help our November downloads.
I think it would still help our November downloads because 2 days after, we're still getting the same amount of downloads as day 1, which is unbelievable.
No, you guys
don't understand.
October, I don't know where these people are coming from.
Where you are coming from.
We have what was the percentage of that we tripled by? 99%.
No, it was 99%
of
last
listeners that we've tripled, or that we've not tripled, but.
And if you notice that the YouTube video was not posted until on Friday, you didn't see that. No one saw that.
Mind your business.
Because what was going on behind the scenes was Taylar contemplating life fully, 100%.
Hey, at least we have the pizza money.
Are you hot? I'm hot.
I am, but this video cannot be, this cannot be there.
And I can't even pull my hair up. Okay, they're tired of hearing us talk about how hot we are.
You can't pull your hair up because I stole your ponytail out of your bathroom.
No, you can't. I can't pull my hair up because there's extensions in my hair that won't go up.
Hey, it is what it is.
I I don't know what I was going to say about that, but they're nice.
All right, let's start.
All right, let's get into it.
If you're driving, throw that shit on cruise control.
If you got a glass, pour that shit up.
And let's get
creepy
drunk
and hammered.
Creepy. Let's get creepy for real. Creepy account. Let's get creepy.
Let's get creepy. So I apologize in advance because I'm going first, and everybody knows that I cannot read. So this is going to be very interesting. So let's get creepy with it, all right?
All
the
right.
creepiest accounts that we've ever had, Volume 5. Here we go.
Let's go.
So I do not wish to be named, and we know who this person is, and we'll get to that in a second. I love listening to y'all, and I've been meaning to share my personal experiences for a while now, but it just seemed to be the right time. Keep up the good work, Taylar and Morgan, and I'll keep listening. Is that a threat?
Is that a threat?
Is that a threat? Here we go. So when my husband and I first moved into together, before we were married, we bought a little house in the old part of downtown. And Morgan, what is your saying? Where there's history,
there's ghosts.
Yep. So I absolutely love this house, but it was old and it had a really scary basement.
Yikes. Red flag.
When we moved into the house, the original house plans were framed on the wall with the year that it was built, which was 1932 by the McNabb family. I never got bad vibes from the house, but my husband always felt like it was haunted by Old Man McNabb. I only ever had one experience in that house, and it was odd to say the least. We had our first child a year after we moved into that house. One night, when she was probably around 4 months old, I went to bed and woke up the next morning to her high chair being flipped upside down.
Oh my gosh.
Now, if you know anything about high chairs, they are designed to not be easily pushed over or to fall for a child's safety. So I have no reasonable explanation as to why the high chair was upside down. My husband and I came to the conclusion that it was Old Man McNabb's way of telling us that he was sick of the baby and her crying, which gave me a super unsettling feeling because it was personal towards her. Not long after this, we bought a new house and moved, but that wasn't the end. We found a house that was not too far away from where our old house was located. When we first went to look at the house, we fell in love with it. It was huge. In fact, 6 times bigger than our old house. So needless to say, we didn't even have enough furniture to fill up the living room. So we went to look at this house, and it was gorgeous. We were told that the family didn't live there anymore that currently owned it, that they had moved out several months ago. But when we went to take a tour of the house, you never would have thought that someone didn't live there. It was so strange. All of their closets were still completely full. Toys were scattered about the floor in the children's bedrooms, and the pantry and refrigerator were completely stocked with food. It was almost as if they had just left to go out to the store and would be right back. The realtor told us that they had moved out and they had a moving company that would be coming to box up everything in the home that weekend. And they did. The original owner never returned to the home, which my husband and I found very strange. I mean, who leaves their home and doesn't come back to supervise a move? This was a giant move with tons of stuff in the garage, the bedrooms, the closets. They were completely full. They had full bedroom suites, and they never returned to the house. Well, something about this house never felt comfortable to me. There was always an uneasy feeling that I had about the home, but I was in love with it, which blinded me to my gut feelings. Which, red flag.
Red flag.
It started out with silly things, like a room or pictures shaking or vibrating, like someone was running down the hallway, or thinking that someone was trying to pull my foot in the middle of the night, which still happens to this day, by the way.
Heck no.
But one night, my husband and I, being the young married couple that we were arguing downstairs in the basement. And the argument was intensifying, and the more angry we both got, things began to feel weird, like the air became static, and in the middle of us screaming, the power goes out. There was no storm, no rain, nothing. As we sat there in the dark and calmed down, we were able to let the anger subside, and the power came back on. But the way it all happened was really weird. The house was 3 stories, including the basement. So when we began walking up the stairs from the basement to go to the main floor, once at the top, I went to reset the clocks in the kitchen, but they were all fine. My husband went to the alarm clock in the bedroom, and it wasn't flashing either. After looking around for a little while, it was clear that the power did not go off anywhere else in the house except for the basement where we were arguing.
Ew.
We both had a very uneasy feeling about it because nothing about it made sense. Little things continued to happen, but the most memorable one for me was one night in the middle of the night I was awakened out of a deep sleep by an extremely loud noise. The kind of startling that makes you stand right up out of the bed because it is so shocking you don't know what else to do other than immediately jump out of the bed in fear, because seconds before that it was completely silent. And now I'm being bombarded with this extremely loud noise. As I look around for the source of the loud sound, I notice a light coming from the living room. So I run towards the living room. And the TV had turned on in the middle of the night with the volume up to max.
Ooh, that happened in my bedroom in the apartment, remember?
Yes, stop. So, I mean, so loud that you would be startled in the middle of the day if this happened. So I'm scrambling, running frantically, trying to find the remote to turn it down. Still not really understanding why this is happening. I mean, and you have to remember, this is out of the dead of sleep, so you're still like half asleep. After I found the remote, I tried to turn it down with the volume first. So I'm pressing the buttons, but nothing is happening. I'm smacking the remote on my hands, and nothing is happening. When I give up trying to turn the volume down, I try to turn it off using the power button, but it wasn't working either. I can't turn the TV off. It won't go off. I'm hitting the remote on things. I'm doing everything I can to get this TV off. What seems like an eternity later, but in reality was probably only a full minute from the time that I got in there and started working on it, I finally went to unplug it. And as I'm reaching for the plug-in, it just turns off on its own.
Ew!
I'm standing there in complete silence in the darkness, and I'm terrified. My adrenaline is rushing, and nothing that just happened made any sense at all. After that, I called my mom, and she came over with the Bible the next morning, and we went to every room. We prayed the blood of Jesus over this entire home, every doorway, every window, and we told whatever was in this home that it was not welcome here. And in the name of Jesus Christ, we commanded it to leave. After that, we never had another problem in the house. It felt safe, warm, and peaceful. That's not to say that every now and again, some things happen. And either way, I don't feel this dark, menacing feeling anymore. Sometimes I get awoken in the middle of the night from what feels like one of my girls crawling in the bed with me, only to reach over and feel that no one is there. All my daughters have had things that have happened to them over the years that have scared them. For example, my oldest daughter said that she would see shadows walking by her doorway at night while laying in bed. My middle daughter, when she was only 3 years old, told me that she woke up and saw Daddy's big eyes looking at her from inside her closet.
Oh my gosh.
And my youngest daughter sees the shadows in all of the corners and doors, and she always has. We continue to pray for a hedge of protection over our family and our home, and sage when necessary. Even with all of that now, my home feels peaceful. And I know that seems hard to believe, but I truly believe that the darkness that may or may have not driven out that first family is now gone. But what remains are peaceful spirits that just sometimes like to be seen.
That's crazy.
Craziness.
Oh
my god.
gosh.
I'm okay.
So, do you think that, or if you're listening to this, I need you to DM us and let us know if you ever reached out to those homeowners from the second home. Like, did you ever say, like...
So I DM'd this person because I was all about this.
Yeah.
So I DM'd them and I'm like, I need to know what the first owner's stories were. And they never were able to get in contact with them.
That's weird.
But they knew who they were. That's what the craziest part
is. You know where I
is.
thought that the story was going? Was that
Where?
this family had been, like
murdered or something. That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
That is literally what I thought.
But no, they seem to be just pick up and
they just got up and left. And it like in the story, it sounds like they just went on vacation or something and were like, sell our house.
Yeah.
But why else would you leave?
And why would you not monitor everything, the moving out company? Like,
and that's another thing I asked. I was like, okay, well, you know, what type of house is this? Blah, blah, blah. What type of family was this? And the writer of this story was like, no, this was a very well-off family. Like, someone that would never let anybody move their shit on, like, without supervising.
Oh,
I'm talking, like,
gosh.
tons of money in this house is what I got from the vibe of this DM.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
That is insane.
I love that. Thank you so
for
much
sharing.
for sharing.
That is absolutely crazy.
All right, Morgan, are you ready for yours?
Yes. Mine is also anonymous, and it says, "Hi, creeps and crimes." So this creepy account is a story I'm sharing from one of my good friend's best friend. My friend, let's call her Carly, and her best friend, let's call her Rachel, had been doing really great every day this past summer with going to the gym together and keeping each other accountable by staying fit. Hell yes.
Yeah,
Carly
ladies.
and Rachel, hell yes.
Absolutely.
They went, oh, this is a local one. They went to Planet Fitness on Chapman Highway in Knoxville every afternoon. As summer was wrapping up, Carly decided to go stay back home in Chattanooga for a few days. I know I said Chattanooga weird, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. It's Chattanooga, not Chattanooga.
Chattanooga for a few days before starting school for the fall semester. So without Carly, Rachel keeps up her workout resume and heads to Planet Fitness around 6 p.m. on August 4th of 2021. Ooh, this is a crime one,
This is local, huh?
This is a crime one, huh?
Okay, fine. I'm ready.
Upon leaving the gym, Rachel gets inside her car, locks the doors, and puts on her seatbelt, getting ready to leave the parking lot. However, before she can leave, a man rushes up to her passenger window out of nowhere, and in the blink of an eye had her passenger side window smashed open, holding a gun in her face while telling her to drive. Oh,
shut up!
Fuck no.
No!
There's my F word for today. He jumps in her passenger seat and continues to hold her at gunpoint. He gives her directions through South Knoxville, and along the terrifying ride, they pass the only real landmark along the way, a local popular taco joint.
We know what this is.
Is it so no?
Yeah.
For those who know the area, South Knoxville back roads can be very secluded.
Yes.
The man continues to have her drive until reaching a road that was closed. They had to turn around and head back the way they came, luckily passing back by the taco restaurant. Rachel said she remembers thinking it was her only chance to possibly get help. All in one motion, she unbuckles her seatbelt and wrenched open the car door.
Yes!
Covered in cuts and broken glass, she's screaming desperately for help to the people outside the busy restaurant. The kidnapper had a hold of her arm, but Rachel, who was screaming and fighting, managed to get away to run for her life and get inside the restaurant to call the local police.
I have chills!
Yes, that is a hell of a girl.
Hell yeah!
The attacker during this time gets in the driver's seat and speeds off away from the scene. For several days, the police, the FBI, and other law enforcement lead a manhunt for the attacker. The whole time, Rachel was terrified that this man, who we later found out was stalking her,
oh my god,
was going to come back and find her. The man had hidden away through the forested area in South Knoxville while canine units and helicopters searched for him. As authorities eventually closed in on his location, he uses the gun that he held Rachel up with to shoot himself in the head in a suicide attempt. He stayed alive long enough for them to get him to a hospital where he later died. Luckily, and by the grace of God, Rachel is alive and well.
Thank God.
However, I doubt she will ever be able to forget the traumatic experience her attacker put her through. Personally, I'm glad he is dead so that she does not have to live through the trauma of law proceedings and knowing that he is still out there where he can inflict more pain. Thanks for spreading awareness, Taylar and Morgan.
Stop, because that makes me so emotional.
Shit.
Holy shit. That makes me so emotional solely because, like, how, like, close is that to us? That's
right. And I remember seeing this story.
Me too.
And I had we again know who sent this in. I had no idea that it was, wow.
Yeah.
That is absolutely insane.
That is insanity. And you know what?
When you're in these situations, to you,
it happens.
Can.
And you have to remember, when you have that chance, you take it. You have to take it. You have to protect yourself. Don't become the victim, become the survivor in all of these instances.
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, Rachel, if you're listening to this, we are so proud of you.
Yeah.
So very proud of you. And in a way that, like, deeply, like, gets to my heart from someone that, like, listens to true crime every day, like, how close that is to us.
Right.
Really, like, puts in perspective, like, how often this happens, and how is that even possible anymore? Like,
right. But I can't tell you the amount of times I've been to that Planet Fitness.
I know you have. You used to work out there all the time. And it's right across from the Sonic that I stayed at while you were working out.
Exactly. Yeah. And Taylar and I, we lived, you guys, I'm not even kidding you, 2 minutes from this location.
I shit you.
For a year.
My husband lived not even 30 seconds away from this. Okay, whenever we were together.
It's
that is insane.
Well, we are glad you are alive and well, Rachel.
And you know what?
Thank you for allowing
the person that wrote that in. I completely agree with you. Thank God things happened the way that they did, and she doesn't have to deal with the traumatic law proceedings and having to see her attacker's face over and over again. Right? Amen. Okay, everybody. So after that crazy true crime story, let's get creepy again.
Yay!
And first off, you know I love a good true crime story, and that's why I gave it to Morgan to read, because
a little switcherisky today.
Yeah, we had to change it up. It wouldn't be a spooky ooky Halloween episode without it, right? So now our third story comes in from Nicole, and the people that know Nicole love Nicole. I love Nicole. Morgan has never met her.
I also love you, Nicole, and I can't wait to meet you.
I know, and we're going to have to come to Nashville whenever you're up here next time and come see you.
We'll be there.
So let's get creepy. This is about the House of Refuge at Gilbert's Bar in Stuart, Florida. So for all my Stuart people, do not come after me. This was an audio clip that I did not feel like transcribing, so I'm just doing it based off of memory and research that I have done today. Which you guys are probably shaking in your boots right now.
I am.
I am also. So here we go. This is the story of the House of Refuge at Gilbert's Bar in Stuart, Florida. So for those who don't know what this is, it is a 2-story house of refuge that sits on Gilbert's Bar, and beside it is a lighthouse. This man named Gilbert used to be the lighthouse worker / keeper of the House of Refuge. And it was his job to watch over those that would come into the bay, wash up, mainly after shipwrecks. So you have to remember that this is a very old story. So one day, Gilbert is in his lighthouse and he sees something wash up on the shore. He runs over to it, and it's a couple, a husband and a wife. They had been in a shipwreck, and they were able to survive and swim to the shore, which A, I couldn't imagine. B, I couldn't do it.
A, I'd be in the middle of the ocean just take me.
Yes, and then B, we would also just drown.
Yeah.
Get eaten by sharks.
Exactly.
So, they wash up. He goes down there to help them, and he says, okay, come into this house, and I'm going to let you stay here. So he lets them stay there, and it's late at night, you have to remember, because he's working in the lighthouse. He could barely see that there was actually people that washed up. So he leaves them there, and he goes back to his home. And he's asleep in the second story, which was in the House of Refuge from my understanding. And he's asleep, and he hears this weird sound coming from the outside. So he looks outside, but there's no one there. The next morning, he wakes up, and he goes to the couple's room to check on them, only to find that the woman is near death. She has a
Gosh.
flesh-eating disease that is turning her skin black.
Oh my gosh, the black plague.
Plague?
Plague.
No. It's just...
That's the wine talking.
In the
Black
audio recording, they're like, it's the flesh-eating disease from the Pirates of the Caribbean, or however you say it.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm just going to go off of that, whatever that means. So he, makes them comfortable. It's like, okay, here's all the things that you need to shower, take care of yourself, here's food, let's, watch over her, see if we can get a doctor. He goes to the lighthouse at night, works his shift, comes back to the second story, and goes to bed. In the middle of the night, he's awoken to a sound coming from outside, like the night before. He looks outside, and there is nothing there. He goes back to bed, thinking maybe it was just the couple moving around, and then he wakes up the next morning, goes and checks on the couple, and the woman had passed away. The husband had been writing letters back to her family from wherever they were originally from. But they were not going to be able to make it in time. So they decided to bury her in Palm City. They bury her body, the husband and Gilbert, together. And they have a little funeral between the two of them, and they come back to the house. Gilbert's like, look, you stay here as long as you need whatever you need. He goes to bed in the second story of the house. He falls asleep, and he's awoken to a sound coming from the outside. He looks out of his second story window to see a extremely tall man staring back at him with black eyes.
Oh my gosh, I have chills.
He runs to the basement. He grabs anything that he can, which at the time was like a lantern and a knife, and he runs outside to go protect the people that are in the house of refuge. But no one is there. He walks back inside the house only to see a family, a husband and a wife, specifically the family that he pulled up on the shore just 2 days earlier.
That he buried the wife.
Yep.
Oh my
They're
gosh.
standing there in his living room, and he's like, we buried you? Question mark, question mark, question mark. He runs his hand through them to only see that they are apparitions. He runs past them, telling them to get out of his house. They are not welcome there. And he goes up to his second story, opens his journal, and writes all of this story down. A month later, his journal is found because no one heard from Gilbert in that entire month. And Gilbert was never seen again. And that is why it is called the House of Refuge in Stuart, Florida, at Gilbert's Bar.
Oh my gosh.
I love this story.
Wait, so is it a bar now?
It's like a bar, not like a drinking bar from my understanding, more of like, like a sandbar?
Okay.
Florida things.
Yeah.
Florida things.
That's crazy.
Stuart, Florida, people, if I got that wrong, I'm very sorry. I tried my best doing my own research and listening to the stories that were sent to me from locals.
Some of the best paranormal hauntings are from locals.
Yes.
Because it just gets passed down and passed down. A lot of it's not on the internet.
And that's what they said in the recording. They were like, this is not like what you see on the websites and stuff. And it really was different. It was a lot more personal and in detail the things that was happening. Because like when you read history books, it's like, no one ever saw Gilbert again after he brought that family up. And, in this, they're talking about no, these people knew him, and it's been passed down and down generations of storytellers.
Wow. Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you, Nicole, for sending that in.
Awesome.
I literally texted her. I was like, you told me that one time when we were in the hot tub that you had a creepy account for me. Can you send it to me?
ASAP.
She was like, absolutely. I'm with the people right now. Sends me an audio recording. I'm like, you're a real bitch, Nicole. Really. Yes, that was the truest shit that I've ever felt in my entire life. All right, Morgan, final story.
All right, final story, you guys. It says, hi, creeps and crimes. I am a day one listener and love you guys so much. Thank you. Love you too. I wish to stay anonymous, but my pronouns are she/her.
Thank you.
Up until a few years ago, I never really had any creepy encounters. I have always felt strongly protected by my father, who passed away when I was younger, especially when living in my childhood home. It all started when I transferred from my local college to an out-of-state university. I got a job in an attempt to make some friends since the sorority I was in at my old school was not on campus at my new school. And on my very first day, I walked in and was immediately greeted by this random girl who later became one of my very best friends.
Aww.
As if all in one breath, this girl told me her whole life story and was already asking questions about mine, like we had known each other forever. We just felt familiar. After being friends for a while, she told me that she practiced mediumship and was able to connect me with the other side, aka my dad.
I love the AKAs.
It was chills. It was a crazy ride, but I watched as she worked on her gifts and grew her confidence to share with others. And in that time, I grew with her, realizing that I had gifts of my own too. But it is not something I actively practice or do openly, as I am strong in my Christianity beliefs and prefer to just let God handle it. Once I become more open to the other side, I began to have experiences of my own. The first I can remember was dreams, crazy dreams, that had very clear messages, mainly from my friend who was practicing talking to higher powers and sending deliberate messages like, wake up, bitch, or call me, or hey, we should go get sushi tomorrow or coffee in the morning. The next thing that happened was when I was spending the night with my, at the time, boyfriend. He and I loved each other very much, but we just were not good for each other, and I knew it, but I didn't want to believe it.
Everybody's been there.
One night, we had a pretty rough day, but just decided to go to sleep after a little argument. It's the dead of night, and I am knocked out of sleep on my back in the bed, when all of a sudden, I am awoken to someone pulling my hands out in front of me, leaving me in the seated position on the bed.
Oh my God.
It freaked me out so bad, but I felt like it was just my guardians telling me to leave. Spoiler alert, I didn't listen. The third thing that happened was that the same, now ex-boyfriend, and I were both spending the night at a friend's house visiting for a weekend. As I'm sleeping, I hear someone moving around in the room. I open my eyes to see a man sitting on the windowsill beside the bed, putting on shoes. Because it was so dark and I was still half asleep, I thought it was just my boyfriend putting on socks or something to walk to the bathroom. But even then, it didn't make any sense to me because though the bathroom was not attached to the room, it was right outside the door. So I asked him what he was doing, and right about then, he stood up, opened the door, and walked out, shutting it behind him. Being the crazy bitch I am, I look over to see if his phone is on the bed so I can look through it. And then I noticed my boyfriend was lying directly beside me in the bed.
Shut up.
Oh my gosh, chills. The final thing that happened was just the other day. My best friend, the crazy one that I mentioned in the beginning of the story, and I decided to do a classic late night drive by my new crush's house.
Yes. Absolutely.
As we were out, it was an extremely dark night and we got a little turned around because the area we were in did not have streetlights and it isn't in an awesome part of town. Sorry, I'm out of breath. Before we knew it, we ended up in this extremely nice area with expensive older homes. It looked like the dream trick, or treating, sorry. It looked like the dream trick or treating street for a child. Amen to that. My mom always took me to nice neighborhoods.
Yes.
With streets that had trees, ember flame streetlights, and grass between the two lanes.
That's a nice street.
Yeah.
Holy shat.
Ember flame streetlights. I love that.
You know that's an expensive neighborhood right when you see the fire.
Yeah. As we were driving, my friend says to me, dude, I feel like we are in a glitch. This doesn't look real and it doesn't match this side of town at all. I just kind of brushed it off because she always says crazy shit like that.
Yeah. All right.
As she says this, we come up on a car that is stopped in the street, driving very slowly in front of us. As we approach the car, it kind of takes off, so we forget about it and turn onto a one-way side street because she needed to pull over and check Zillow to see if this was a real area.
Me, girl, me.
Just as we put the car in park and open the Zillow app, we see that same car trying to pull onto the street we were on in front of us. And the driver rolls down his window. And with our lights being on and very bright, we can see his face very clearly. It literally looked just like Kid Rock. Long blonde hair with a wide brim hat on and so much eyeliner. He keeps saying, "Are you gonna back up? Are you gonna back up?" over and over again. Typically, my friend is a fireball who doesn't take shit from everyone, so I was confused when I saw her just frozen in fear. She just kept saying no, 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 and threw the car in reverse, making room for this idiot Kid Rock Jr. who was going the wrong way on 2 different roads to come through. He pulls beside our car like he wants us to roll down the window, but my friend takes off. The entire way home, she just kept insisting that everything we just encountered was dark.
Oh no.
The earth was dark there, and she could not shake the pit in her stomach. That's all I have, friends. Thank you for all you do. Sending love and kisses.
Stop. I need more.
Yeah, that was crazy.
More.
I would love to meet her friend.
I know. She
Oh
sounds
my
like
gosh.
me.
Yeah, she's another version of Taylar. That is insane.
Hi, you and your friend need to come drink with us here in Knoxville because I think me and your friend would probably get into some shit.
I think you guys would get along well.
Yes,
That's
absolutely.
crazy. Well, thank you for sharing that, Mrs. Anonymous.
And that's all we have.
And that's all we have. A short episode, but creepy accounts are always.
And they're so fun. So if you have a creepy account, you can send it in to creepsandcrimespodcast@gmail.com. You can hop onto our Instagram, DM it to us on there, or you can go to our website, creepsandcrimespodcast.com, to send it through our submission portal.
Yes,
on the second page. I think it might be on the, it's on
I
the
think
About
it's
Us.
on the first page.
No, that's the suggestions.
Oh, okay.
So I think it's on the About Us page underneath.
I think you're right, yeah.
I might be wrong on that. Just
send
look.
that in because this right here is our favorite episode.
We just get to get drunk and read creepy stories
there's
together.
no research involved.
It's just so lax.
We're like, let's get hammered and then we'll read a couple stories and then, call it a day.
And we need a campfire and some s'mores and shit because that's how good this is.
Send anything in, you guys. Please, please, please. And that is all I have.
That's all I have too.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Happy Halloween.
Wait.